Hello, everyone. I started a little early just in case we have any early birds here. It's almost 11. So this is going to be the Facebook Live event. My name is Allison Mädl. Thanks, everyone, for coming. And so I want to introduce myself a little bit on this call. And I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. I'm also an associate instructor for the NTA. I just want to hang out a little bit. Everybody can see me. If you want to give me a thumbs up or comment that you can see me. I think we have 4 or 5 people online already. That's great. Welcome everyone who's just joining us. And it is 11 o'clock and I want to be respectful of your time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So welcome everyone to the NTA Facebook Live event that I'm going to be leading today. My name is Allison Mädl and I will be your host today for our live meeting. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner. I'm also an associate instructor for NTA. I'm going to be instructing for the upcoming Boise, Idaho class starting in September with our lead instructor, Dusty Lapp. He's really great. I enjoy working with him, so we're a good team and I look forward to working with him again starting in September. The registration is still open. Oh, good, we get some people here. Hello. The registration is still open for the Boise, Idaho class, so now's the time to find out everything you need to know today. I see a few people with thumbs up, so it looks like we are good to go. Here's an overview of what we're going to talk about today. I'll mostly talk about my own journey, what led me to pursue nutritional therapy, what led me to find NTA specifically. Then we'll talk about my experience as a student in the NTP program. And then I moved to being a group leader and becoming an associate instructor. I'll talk about some career path opportunities and then I'll take questions. So if you have any questions as I'm talking, you can go ahead and comment on the right side of your screen and I'll go ahead and answer those at the end of the talk. So I'll talk first and then answer questions. So if anything comes up, just write it down and we'll go ahead and get those answered for you. And if you're listening as the recording, go ahead and submit any questions to Nutritional Therapy Association and we'll get those answered for you as well. So talking a little bit about what led me to NTA and how I found nutritional therapy. So like a lot of people, becoming a nutritional therapy practitioner is a second career for me. I actually started as a high school teacher and my background is in linguistics, writing, and education. So I really started to get interested in health in kind of the middle of my high school teaching career, but I didn't really know much about health and I just sort of listened to what other people were talking about and dabbled in a bunch of different things. I signed up for lots of running races. I started to get really interested in running. So I did 10Ks and half marathons and got really interested in barefoot running and those toe shoes that were popular about, this was about 2010. So I was trying to eat as healthy as I could, but it turns out I wasn't really supporting my body very well with all of that running and exercising in terms of the food that I was eating. I'd also had a lot of issues with low blood sugar, and I didn't really know that that was the cause of my symptoms at the time. And actually I'd had it since I was a child. I really didn't ever go more than a couple hours without eating. And when I did eat, I used to eat really big meals because I knew I'd have to kind of tide myself over to the next meal if I wasn't able to snack. So I had a lot of headaches and shakiness between meals, lots of fatigue. It got so bad kind of around the time that I got married that I would actually faint if I wasn't eating enough or quickly, or if I did a lot of exertion and didn't fuel well enough. I would faint and then go into convulsions, and it was just really scary and it wasn't fun, and I didn't really know what was wrong or what I could do. But it made things like leaving the house for a day of going to run errands and things like that a real chore and kind of nervous for me because I didn't know when, it would strike and I would feel pretty bad. So it was sort of a strange part of my life because I felt like I was doing all the right things in terms of exercising well and, eating what I thought was healthy, a lot of low fat foods and probably higher carbohydrates, but I was exercising. So I thought, I need the glucose to burn the energy and all of that. So I had that on one side where I really was feeling quite good and healthy and I liked how I looked, but I had all these digestive problems along with all the blood sugar issues, and it just was this strange mix of healthy and not healthy. So that was kind of what brought me into looking to try to find solutions, and didn't find solutions for a long time. Also started getting some more symptoms of chronic yeast infections and hair falling out, and I really think I was malnourished primarily. So about November 2010, I found the GAPS diet. I found it on the back of a milk carton at, not the GAPS diet, but my husband brought home a gallon of raw milk from Organic Pastures Dairy, which I grew up in California, and that's the largest raw milk dairy in California. And he brought home this gallon of milk. I'd never seen raw milk before. I didn't know what it was. And it said something about healing your gut on the back of the label. And I had no idea what that was. And I Googled just the phrase heal your gut. And the first thing that came up was the GAPS diet with Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. And I was blown away. I remember sitting at my desk. I was at school because I was a high school teacher. So I was sitting at my desk after school. All the kids had gone home. And I sat there for hours just reading the whole entire website. And it just blew me away. I had never seen anything like that before. This was back before anybody was talking about paleo or even any sort of real food lifestyle. I think the barefoot shoes kind of alternative health movement was kind of just starting to get going, paying attention to sort of how the body actually processes foods from a more ancestral perspective. And that was kind of just getting started. So anyway, that really was my inroad to this whole lifestyle. And through them, I learned about the Weston Price Foundation. And then I became a member, started getting their quarterly journals, and read Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, which is actually one of our course textbooks for the NTP course. So I was happy I had already been exposed to that. And I started seeing some students in my class. I was an English teacher, but also a ELD teacher. That stands for English Language Development. That means I was teaching students from other countries who were recent arrivals because I taught brand new beginner English. So I was seeing students from other countries that had really beautiful faces. I know it sounds a little strange to say, but I had just been reading Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, and here I'm seeing some of these students coming in with beautiful white teeth, straight smiles. Actually, a lot of them had said they never had braces, and a lot of them actually from the more rural areas had never even been to a dentist before, which I thought was shocking. And I really didn't know that much about nutrition at the time. So I just sort of chalked that up like, oh, that's interesting. And I was eating with my coworkers and having lunch with them, and they kind of looking at me like, what are these kinds of foods that you're introducing here? They thought it was kind of strange, but it came to the point where I was learning a lot and I was having a lot of success with my own health, but I wasn't feeling very like an authority on the subject. I felt a little bit like I had learned everything online, and my family, they thought what I was doing was great, but was a little bit, hadn't really know much about all the things I was talking about healing the gut lining and the endothelial lining of the cells. And I'd get really into it, try and start talking about it. And it kind of fell on a lot of deaf ears, but I knew that I was onto something. And so I decided I wanted to become some sort of something, either a nutritionist or get a master's in human nutrition. That was something I thought about and researched some of those programs. But, I didn't like how much they cost. I didn't like how long it was going to take to go through the program. But I was ready to do it because I thought, I need some authority on this. I want to learn more, and I want to maybe be able to see my own clients someday and help people on a more official level. And so I actually signed up for some science classes at the local community college because I didn't have any prerequisites that would have worked for those clinical nutrition master's programs. So I signed up, but actually then the Weston Price Foundation had a conference. Their annual conference in 2012 was in Santa Clara, California. And so I decided to go. It's the only one I've been to, and it was amazing. I think I ate more food there than I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was wonderful. But actually the NTA, long story short, coming back to NTA, they had a booth there, and I got a wooden spoon that had the NTA logo on it. And I remember when I came home thinking, oh, that was a really interesting program that I learned about. I wonder what it's all about. And so I looked it up, and it was just sort of, it made sense. It's kind of like when I saw the GAPS diet, I went for it. When I saw NTA, I just went for it. I thought it was exactly what I needed. It was fairly short, so only a 9 to 10 month program. It had something that I could do from home, which I really liked for the most part. You know, the NTA, the NTP course primarily is online, but it does have 3 in-person weekends. So we would meet as a group, and I liked that balance. Being able to see some of my classmates in person was really a good thing that I thought I would like. And but it didn't mean that I had to meet every weekend somewhere and travel extensively. So that was something that I liked. So I went through the program. I signed up for the San Diego class. They didn't have the LA class at the time. So I went through the San Diego class, had a great experience, made lifelong friends, actually found someone who had gone to junior high school with, who was in my NTP class, and we hadn't even known that we were actually carpooling down to the San Diego workshop, and we passed by the school. I said, oh, I went to school there. And she said, oh, I went to school there too. And we were in the same class. It was just really funny. So you meet people in these classes that you'd never expect to meet. And really, it's really exciting to meet people who you kind of click with on a really deep level. So, because they kind of are, we talk about it as a community. It's a community of people who all think the same way. With, you know, we don't all think exactly the same way, but it's nice to be able to start from the same spot. So that's how I went through my student program, and I became a group leader after that, which is like a course mentor or kind of like a teacher's aide of, as alumni, you can go and volunteer to be a group leader for future classes. And so that's what I did in San Diego the next year. Then after that, I became an associate instructor. So now I work with the lead instructor, and I help teach the class and work on grading and things like that for the students. I also have a private practice. Actually, I'll talk about that a little bit here. So my husband and I decided to move from California up to North Idaho about 2 years ago. And we found a house up here and really enjoy living up here. And so I opened my private practice up here, where I work some with distance clients that are still from California, but also distance clients even from this area, and then local clients that I have. Primarily, I work with feminine health issues, so people who are really kind of suffering the same sorts of things that I was going through, often related to sugar and blood sugar issues, but you know, helping them to eat more whole foods and get those kind of the body balanced. So I really enjoy doing that. It's sort of who's been coming to me in terms of their health needs. So that's what I do. I do work from my home office. So this is my office, and I love that because I get to see clients here. I can cook here. I can tend to my garden. I can do my work online as an associate instructor. It's really freeing to be able to have a job and a profession that allows me to do my work from anywhere, really, until, you know, if I see clients individually, they can come and we can be able to have a really, nutrition and food is very intimate. It's one of those things that you do in your own house, and for a lot of people, it can be, you know, they don't want other people to see how they eat, or maybe they're embarrassed about it, but I really find that either meeting clients in their own homes, this is just how I do it, a lot of people do it differently, but meeting clients in their own homes or having them meet at my home office, just, it's food, right? It's family. I think that's where we cook. We cook at home, and we want to help people to be able to do that themselves. So even teaching cooking demonstrations and things like that is really exciting. So that's pretty much it in terms of my career and path to getting here. I just want to say that we had our first class inaugural year in Boise last year, and we're starting our second class this coming September. And so I don't know, is there anybody in Idaho right now or the surrounding areas that's interested in the Boise class? I'd love to hear from you, maybe answer some questions about that, but I'll open it up now to any specific questions you have about my background, about me, or about the NTA class, the program, whatever you want to know. So go ahead. Looks like over here I see a lot of thumbs up, I see a lot of wonderfuls. If you have any specific questions, you can go ahead and type them into the comments section. Got some hearts going on. People are having a good time. All right. I don't see any specific. Do I have one? So somebody's asking what my favorite part of the NTP program was. Let's see, favorite part. I think, well, I can't choose just one favorite part because it really was, it was life-changing. It's hard to say what your favorite part is about something like that, but I would say it was the connections that I made with other people who became my community of people who I finally felt like I could talk to, who understood where I was coming from, who didn't think I was crazy about the types of foods that I was eating or the science that I was learning, and they weren't suspicious. Everybody was so open and excited and just curious. And I was a curious person. I am a curious person. I keep doing that. So that's probably, I probably would say that would be my favorite part. The other part was just basically earning a profession and gaining a profession that allows me to be free. I don't feel tied down to working in a particular place, in a particular location, helping any particular age of people. I can help anybody who I want to take in, and I feel free. And actually the food that I'm eating gives me the freedom, because now, I mean, I didn't talk about the successes, but I don't have those blood sugar swings anymore because of the foods that I learned to eat in the NTA program specifically. I mean, I learned a lot on my own, but it was really through NTA that I got connections, and it just grows from there. So you meet one person and then they tell you about another person who helped with this or that, and it's just amazing. Really love it. Any other questions? Anybody else? Oh, sorry, I needed to scroll down. Oh, good, Melissa. Gonna be home in the Boise class. Oh, wonderful. Looking forward to meeting you, Melissa. That's exciting. Boise is such a cool city. I'm from well, not from, but I've been living in North Idaho, and Boise is like a big city compared to what we have up here. And it's a cool city. I don't know if do you live in Boise, Melissa? It's got so much food there. Actually, it's a great food city. Jennifer's asking if I can detail the application process. Honestly, I'm not the best person to ask about the application process. You'd probably, Jennifer, want to call the NTA office or send them an email at info@nutritionaltherapy.com. The application, we have a great application team and they can help you fill it out. I know it's an online application, but I'm not exactly sure what you need specifically to apply. It's been kind of a while since I applied, and I know that they've changed their process since I applied. So sorry I couldn't be more help with that. But if you call them, they'll have lots of information for you. And I think online on the website, it has the application process. Okay. Taking questions now if you've just joined, or if you're like some more information about the NTP program. Alexa's asking, how manageable is the NTP program if you're working full-time? Great question, Alexa. Thanks. I was working full-time. I meant to say this. I was working full-time as a high school teacher with a full load of classes, about 40 students in 6 classes, and it was a lot of work already. And I took the NTP program and I traveled to the workshop weekends and actually continued to teach for NTA even 2 years past, still teaching high school. So it is doable. I'm I'm a kind of a chronic student. I love learning, and I'm pretty organized, and I stay on top of things. It's just my personality. So I was able to do it pretty much without too much struggle, although it was work. I've had people say probably budget about 20, some people even say about 25 hours a week on top of your regular work schedule. So if you're already working 100 hours a week, it's going to be tight and you're going to be crunched. You want to allow yourself enough time to really absorb the information. That's what I hear a lot from students, is they just feel like it comes at them like a fire hose, and then, you know, it's over their head, and by the time the course is over, they're just don't even know what hit them. But at the same time, I do think it's definitely doable, and I did it, and other people do it. A lot of people don't feel comfortable, you know, quitting their day job, as we say, and then taking the program. So I think it's fairly normal. Most people do work and also take the program. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have NTA replying to Jennifer about the application process, saying if you go to the NTA website, you can download the registration packet. Great. There's a link that we put in the comments section. Yeah. Other questions? I love answering questions, and I know you have them. We've only got about 5 people live on the call, but if any of you have any burning questions, or even just to say hi, say where you're from, if you already are a student, or if you, I mean, some of you may actually be students currently. Anybody already signed up for the program and just interested in more information? I maybe should have asked that at the beginning. Okay. Well, we've done about 20 minutes. If anybody is still hanging in there, wants to know more, feel free to ask NTA. You can comment below when this video is posted. You can comment, but unless anyone has any more questions, I think I'm going to sign off. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time to join me this morning. I hope the information was useful, and I really look forward to seeing you in an NTA class, whether it's, you know, currently or whether it's coming up. But it's wonderful, and I don't think you'll regret it. So just sign up. We look forward to seeing you. Okay, goodbye, everybody.